on that train of chasing the dream for fortune and fame. But those who already have it, some are really on a mission. So let's chat with our guest right here on Jqlm Radio's Special Edition. Music, Hip Hop Detective by Rockcott on Pixabay.com. Hey everybody, it's your girl Lady J, and you are tuned into another episode of Jqlm Radio Special Edition with your girl Lady J right here on Jqlm Radio, a division of Ego Entertainment Network. Now you know that we have another dope guest for you today, but before we can get into that, y'all know we got to get these formalities out of the way. So if this is your first time tuning in to the show or to Jqlm Radio, and you would like to share with your family, friends, and followers on all the different ways that they can tune in, this is what you would share. If you'd like to share with your family, friends, and followers on all the different ways that they can tune in to Jqlm Radio, this is what you would share. You can tune in live by downloading the Jqlm Radio app on your Apple or Android devices. You can also listen live via Alexa, the TuneIn app, the Simple Radio app, and a host of other platforms, of which you can find on our website, where you can also listen live at egoentertainmentnet.com/JQLM-radio. Or just visit egoentertainmentnet.com and click the button right there on the homepage. You can also connect with us via our website or social media at JQLM Radio. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Additionally, you can email us at jqlmradio@gmail.com. Find us under our parent company, Ego Entertainment Network, on social media at EGOENTNET. That's Ego Ent Net. You can also follow us on LinkedIn at Ego Entertainment Network. And last but not least, make sure you like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel, Ego TV Network. All right. So now that you know how to tune in, let's introduce our guest. Our guest for today is none other than SAG-eligible actor and one of Ego's own, actually Dana J. Let's welcome him to the show. Hey, Dana, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. And yourself?
I'm great. You know,
Good.
Entertainment group.
Yeah, so let's just hop into it. So real quick, tell everyone a little bit about yourself, your background, where you're from, what you do, and yeah, what you got going on.
Well, I'm Dana J. I'm an actor, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a designer, I'm a public speaker, I'm a musician. I do it all. I blend seasonings, I do it all. And I'm from Baltimore. I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been living here 14 years. And pretty much I've worked on some real big projects throughout my lifetime. And right now I'm currently auditioning, but I'm auditioning for different roles right now. And I have a shoe line coming out June the 17th. Already have my seasoning line already out, just jumping, and that's called Lafayette present. I'm a Dana J and presents Lafayette seasoning. I have that going on, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, so let's first talk about your background. So before you decided to become an actor, what were you doing?
Playing drums in church. And I was doing my own, I'm going to say comedianship when I was making fun of different preachers and pastors.
Okay, so before you got into the acting, then what happened or I should say, what transpired that made you transition into acting? Is it something that you've always wanted to do, or is it something that you just fell into?
Well, it was like, I don't know, because it wasn't something that I always wanted to do. It was like, I was at church, I was making fun of people, and then it's like, and my aunt was like, "You're good at it. Why don't you come over to my house and entertain and my guests?" And she was paying me for it. So what I would do is I would go and look at Jamie Foxx, a Jim Carrey, and all of them and the Wayans brothers. I would watch in living color, and I would imitate Fire Marshal Bill and Wanda, and my aunt and her friends. It'd be like clockwork. Go get Dana. Go get Dana. So I'll go imitate them. I imitate pastors, and then I was just like, well, since they say I'm good at it, let me just take a crack at it. So then I start doing stage plays. I start doing TV shows, and I caught that bug, and I just never let it go. It was like that's where I need to be.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the projects that you've been in. You've been in some pretty dope projects. I mean, you've been in ATL Homicide. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you've been in, oh, what's the one, For My Man. You've been in a lot of major projects. So let's talk
ATL
about,
Homicide, For
yeah.
My Man, um, and The Wire, The Corner.
hmm
Um,
So
um,
tell us, what were those experiences like? So being on set with some of, let's say, your favorite TV shows that you may watch or that people may watch. I know for me, I'm a big crime head. I love true crime and I love horror. So those are, shows that I definitely watch. So what was it like being on set or being a part of those projects?
it it was like an eye opener because a lot of times when you on those type of sets and you thinking like you actually in a big police station or you dissing this, nah, everything is like recreated, and then it looks so real. And then again, it was like prime example when I did For My Man, people was calling me like, I just want to make sure you ain't died, but I see you on TV, you dead. And I'm like, what? And it's like I played the role that good, and I didn't have
They
no
do know it's a reenactment, right?
right, and I didn't have no speaking roles in that. So I was like, so my pantomiming is must be great. And then people start calling me
Mhm,
and to do pantomimes off of that alone. I didn't know pantomimes pay like that, but they
mhm,
for you to be a mute or not to have a speaking role, they pay big time just for the acting or the showmanship of your faces and stuff. So I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, because here's the thing. What people don't realize is I think one of the best actors for me, one of the top, actually, I looked it up and they posted a clip here recently, I think where Samuel L. Jackson was being recognized by Denzel Washington. The man has over 100 and something films under his belt, and he is the
Yeah.
highest paid black actor, period, because he
Mhm.
also has endorsements as well. And Samuel Jackson is my favorite male actor of all time. So he is one of those ones that you can study where he don't have to have any lines, but you can tell exactly what he's feeling. You feel what he's feeling, and he portrays what he's saying through his facial expressions or through his words. And so you have to be an amazing actor to have no lines or have a scene where there are no lines, but you can relate what you're saying through
Mhm.
your non-verbal cues and allowing people to feel what it is that you're feeling at that time.
Ju-
So with that, being a part of, let's say, projects where you have roles like that, do you feel like you've mastered that or do you feel like you still have some work to do?
Now you always have work to do. You always have work to do because if you master something, there's no room for growth. Just like when I
Mhm.
was on Gangster Daughter 2, a lot of people was like, you ain't had no lines, but we loved your part because we knew what you was thinking. And then it was like, then when you died, it's like it looked so real because you just fell. And I was like, you don't know that I'm one take Dana J, right? So it's like when it all went down, I did my whole take in approximately 45 minutes. Everything, the whole scene, one take. And everybody was like, oh, we don't need to go back over it. We don't need to go back over it. I'm just like, hey, but let's do it. And then it was like, and the way it happened, folks was like, I mean, like even the actors there, but it had lines, but that's on major projects. But they was looking at it like, dude, We never seen nobody just come in and do that like that. So
Well, that's good because you are correct. If we remain teachable and coachable and feel like we always can learn something, and there is always room for growth. But the moment that you haven't, you have definitely met your glass ceiling.
mhm.
So I agree with that. Now, with the acting, a lot of actors as we see now, especially a lot of our mainstream actors, and even a lot of the independent, film based actors or B list and C list actors, everybody has something going on, whether it's a nonprofit, another business on the side. You mentioned that there are several things that you're doing. So tell me, what made you decide to become an entrepreneur?
Pretty much, I got tired of living by other people's rules, and then it's like by me doing by me being a, how can I put this, something like a bodyguard but a police officer at the same time. I
Mhm.
looked at it like I'm living somebody else's dream. I'm working for somebody else. I'm doing 12 hours a day. And then I sat back and I thought about it, but I said, what about my dream? Because if I'm doing 12 hours a day, if I'm working 12 hours a day, but that means that it's 24 hours in a day. So if I'm doing 12 of that working, I'm doing possibly 6 to 8 hours sleeping. Let's go 8 hours sleeping. That's 20 hours gone. I take an hour to get to work and an hour to get back home, but that leave me with 2 hours to do what? Nothing. So I said, instead of me living somebody else's dream, how about I live my dream? And my dream is to be a household name, to be an A-list actor, and do what I was put on this earth to do. And that's to bring scripts to life and entertain the masses.
Okay. So here's what I usually say when I hear people talk about entrepreneurship in that way, because nowadays you see that everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. However, entrepreneurship is not for everybody.
Facts.
And it shows in the lack of professionalism, the lack of quality customer service, and the lack of organizational and operational structure, and so on and so forth. And as someone who was in the corporate world for a long time in business management, business development. I have a degree in business management. I have worked in a lot of industries, different industries, from managing to creating whole databases or whole companies, for people and running those companies, multi-million dollar companies. So looking at that and what you just said, I tell people all the time that if you are going into entrepreneurship thinking that you don't have rules to follow, you are sadly mistaken because you still
Yes.
have rules to follow.
You definitely,
You
yes.
still have to answer to someone,
Yes.
as an entrepreneur. And not only that, if you're in it just for the money, you're going to get burnt
You
out
lost.
quickly because
You
when you
lost.
don't have a why, you're not passionate about it. And it being a something that you love to do or something
Mhm.
that you are called to do, I think is more beneficial for long term, someone that is able to continue to withstand, the test of time as an entrepreneur, because a lot of people only see
The end
the
product.
you know the new shoes that you just released or the seasons and stuff, but they don't see the behind the scenes. You be like, you know what,
They
man,
don't
forget all this.
understand. They don't
You know
understand
what?
the sleepless nights and the nights that you just want to say the hell with it all, and you crying, and it's like in the days that your brain just lock up on you, you just sitting there like, now what was I supposed to be doing?
Yes. And you're trading a 9 to 5 ultimately for a 15 to 18-hour day as an
Right.
entrepreneur, especially when you're first starting out. So if you think you're going to have a lot of time saved, absolutely not. That's not how it goes. Technically, you're working way more hours than you were punching somebody else's clock. And
Right.
so, in that, with entrepreneurship, and I'm just stating facts from the other side that we never tell, or I say a lot of entrepreneurs never tell everybody else, is that also um, with that, you have to be, I'll say, you have to have a certain level of determination,
Right.
right? So you have to have a certain level of determination, but you also have to have a certain level of consistency
Right.
as well.
Right. And you need
Right.
the
So
grit. And you need that grit too.
yes, yes, yes. You
And
definitely
because it's
do need
definitely a
that.
grind. It's definitely a grind. And if you ain't willing to grind, if you ain't willing to sacrifice sleep, if you ain't willing to sacrifice you for what you want, don't do it.
Mhm. Right. And you have to come from a place of service. So you're providing a service, whether it is you're a service based company or you have a product, you're still servicing other people. So you
Right.
have to, in essence, have some part of you has to have a heart to serve too. Because if you don't, then you're not going to do it well,
Right.
if that makes sense. So yeah. So with everything that you have going on, tell us what's next or what's coming up. So we know that you, of course, you just signed with Ego Entertainment, so you have
Mm-hmm.
representation, you have a new website,
Mm-hmm.
and things of that sort. So tell us what's next and what's coming up, what's new.
Pretty much what's next is just the shoe launch on June the 17th. Um, I was asked to do a pool party, a celebrity pool party, but I don't know if they, went through the proper channels yet. But if they did, then hey, I guess
Hmm.
my representation will let me know. But if not, then hey,
Hmm.
I won't be there.
Yes,
um,
yes.
um,
Well, real quick before you continue, tell me how how difficult do you find it to make people follow protocol? Because I'm finding that when people begin, as they elevate, you put more things in place, more things in place. I didn't find it difficult just because of the way that I move. And I tell people all the time, if you want A, B, C, D, you're going to follow my protocol because when I walk into somebody's establishment or approach somebody, I have to follow their protocol.
right.
So is it difficult for you to make people follow your protocol?
It is to a certain extent, but it's not
Okay.
because I had protocol and before I even signed. But the
Hmm.
protocol was a direct approach to me, but you had to go through certain emails to get to me, and you couldn't just call me
Hmm.
direct, not
Hmm.
unless I know somebody that you knew that I'm cool with.
Hmm.
But it's like now, it's like no, it's not difficult. It's just people when they get comfortable with you, they don't want to follow protocol because they feel as though they have
Hmm.
access to you. So it's like the more you elevate and the more you have to cut access off to certain people, but you still got to maintain a level of accessibility too.
Right, right. It's all about in business. It's all about doing things decent and in order, so that way
Right.
the ball isn't dropped and things are done properly, and everybody's covered and happy and things of that sort. So yeah,
Mhm.
I understand. So you have the shoe launch coming on the 17th. You had somebody that reached out about a possible appearance.
Mhm.
Anything else?
Um, no, not really. Not that I can
All
remember.
right. All right. Well, you have some roles or opportunities too coming your way. So
Yeah, but I
I know
can't
you
speak
didn't know
on.
that yet, but but you do. so
Oh, I do. Oh, okay. I didn't know.
so so yeah, over here, ego, we be working behind the scenes. When we're not talking, we're working. Okay.
Listen,
so
get it to me.
uh
Let it go.
so how can people connect with you?
On on our all social media platforms, official Dana J, and that's
Mhm.
OFFICIALDANAJAY, all one word. Um, and if you can't get me that way, then reach out to Lady J at Ego Entertainment. They'll definitely get me. She would definitely get me. If you can't get me by email, 9 times out of 10, I'm going forward it to her anyway. So um I'm just keeping it real. If I don't respond, that's because I forwarded it first. Because I believe in doing things in decency and order, and there's no need to have a representation if you ain't gonna do it the right way. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. So before we get out of here, if you had the opportunity to give some encouraging words to someone who is into acting, but maybe they have some reservation or they don't know how to go about starting it, what advice would you give?
put God first. Put God first in everything you do, and pray about it. And then if you still get that go ahead, uh, just like I tell everybody, you don't have to be great to get started,
Mhm.
but you have to get started to be great.
I
And
like.
more importantly in this business, you got to be someone important.
Mhm.
And that's just being yourself
Mhm. Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
pursue,
I
pursue,
love
pursue,
it.
pursue. Oh, and I do want to let you know, if you just getting into acting and you don't have no credits, try to get on every SAG project as background. And if you save 3 of those, if you on there full time and you save 3 of those, you can
Mhm.
then combine all 3 and make it 1 credit and put it on your resume.
Love it. Love it. Great advice. Well, Dana J, thank you so much for stopping by JQLM Radio and chatting with us right here on JQLM Radio Special Edition. Of course, we'll have to have you back later on, you
Anytime.
know, when you have, more new things moving and, projects and stuff coming up.
Gotcha.
All right, guys, listen, we have come down to the end of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to JQLM Radio Special Edition with your girl, Lady J, right here on JQLM Radio, a division of Ego Entertainment Network. And until next time, we are out.